What's going on, guys? 24/7 Tech here. In this video, I'm going to be comparing two smartphones that recently got announced, the Pixel 4a and the OnePlus Nord. These are budget smartphones meant to get you the most value for every single dollar you spend, and they're not the type of smartphones to charge $3,000 for, a foldable screen or like a 200 hertz display or something. These are the phones that will get you the most value for every single dollar you spend. So stay tuned. If you were wondering, to buy one of these smartphones and you were confused about which one to buy, this video will make you clear about your purchase. Before we go further on with this video though, please subscribe down below. Every subscriber makes a huge difference. I need all the help that I can get from you guys, so please subscribe down below. Also, go follow my Instagram and my Twitter. I create behind the scenes content and I post other tech updates on Instagram and Twitter, so you can go follow me there and get some other tech news. If you want some more long-form tech content, you can go read my Medium articles that I write. It's all about technology, and I write articles on various different topics like I do with these videos, except it's even more tech content. Go to the link medium.com/@247tech to read the awesome articles that I write on Medium. So what are the Pixel 4a's advantages? First of all, Google's whole pitch on this whole smartphone is meant for software, not hardware like the OnePlus, which I will get on. But when you buy a Google Pixel, the software is going to be completely clean. There's not going to be any bloatware, and Android's made by Google themselves, so they're not going to add on some random junk that Samsung does with their smartphones. They're not going to do that, and you're also going to get the first software updates, and you're going to get the most software updates of any other Android smartphone as well, because Google supports their phones longer than Samsung would support Google's software on their phones, And you're getting much better software than you would with another Android smartphone. But as for the real phone itself, the camera is what really distances itself from the OnePlus. The night sight feature on Google's cameras are so much better, and it's all software. It's the thing that Google does is they manipulate their photos and their videos with software, which makes it so much better. The photos are clearly flagship camera worthy, but the videos are probably the same as the OnePlus Nord. But since Google kind of elevates their pictures with their software and night sight is so good, again, software, the camera has to go to the Pixel 4a as the kind of edge. Another thing that you do get is a smaller form factor in general. The screen size is only 5.8 inches, which is why the phone is smaller. It's comparable to the iPhone 11 Pro, which also has a 5.8 inch display, except this one has, all screen with just a hole punch cutout. It's a smaller smartphone than most other smartphones on the market, and the OnePlus Nord comes at a 6.4 inch display, which is considerably bigger. So if you wanted a smaller smartphone, the Pixel 4a is probably meant for you. The battery life is also a bit better than the OnePlus Nord, mainly because it does not have the 90 Hz display. It has a normal 60 Hz display that you would find on something like the iPhone, and this is, a much better battery life because of it doesn't have to power that high refresh rate display. It's also got a smaller display in general. A 5.8 inch display is quite a bit smaller than a 6.4 inch panel, but the charger that you get in the box, the charging brick, is an 18-watt fast adapter, which is good for this price. At $350, it's a good thing that we're getting that in the box. But the OnePlus Nord beats that 18-watt fast charger by getting a 30-watt fast charger in the box, which honestly makes a huge difference. It's not something a lot of people talk about, but the fast charger makes a huge difference. Let's talk about the advantages of the OnePlus Nord now. First of all, the design of the phone is much better than the Pixel 4. It feels more like a flagship, and it feels like a $600-700 phone like the OnePlus 8 or the iPhone 11 because of the glass back, and the overall phone itself feels really nice. It feels like a 2020 smartphone, what you'd expect from it, whereas the Pixel 4a has a plastic body on the back, which has a different texture, so it's not too bad, of course, but the OnePlus Nord simply feels better. The ultra-wide and the wide-angle cameras are also really good. The wide-angle camera, so the main shooter, actually literally is the OnePlus 8's lens, but the rest of them are not. But I like the ultra-wide lens. Pretty good to have that, larger screens and, larger picture. But the problem with the rest of the three camera lenses, so there's 4 camera lenses: a macro lens, a depth lens, an ultra-wide lens, and a wide-angle lens. The ultra-wide lens is an 8 megapixel shooter, the depth lens is a 5 megapixel shooter, and the macro lens is a 2 megapixel shooter. So the depth in the macro's quality of picture is garbage. It's not good at all. You'd rather go up to the subject and take a picture of it than use that macro lens on the OnePlus Nord. But the ultra-wide lens is okay, of course. It's an 8 megapixel shooter, nothing close to what the iPhone 11 has to offer, but it's not too bad. The other main feature that a lot of people are talking about is a 90 hertz display on a $400 phone. That's fantastic that you're getting that amazing feature, and it makes a huge difference day to day because you're always swiping on your screen. 90 hertz makes a huge difference. It does take a toll on the battery, but the battery is pretty good. It's 4150 milliamp hours, I think, which is plenty big enough. And the OLED display that it's powering as well is a 6.44 inch panel, OLED, of course, and honestly, the display looks amazing. It's a 1080p panel. It's got over 400 pixels per inch. Pretty much it hits all the basics that it needs to hit, except those extra camera lenses aren't really needed. So the performance of the OnePlus Nord is quite a bit better than the Pixel 4a because it has a better processor, but nothing close to the $400 iPhone SE, which has the A13 Bionic. And we already know that Apple's chips are light years above Android's and the Qualcomm Snapdragon processors. But the 30-watt fast charger in the box kind of makes up for it, in my opinion, because it's super fast to charge this phone up, and it's something that it's a small feature. You know, you don't really look at the charger, you look more at the phone, but just having that in the box is a great feature. And OnePlus has a couple of those great features to make this phone closer to a flagship than a budget phone which just meets the basics. The Pixel 4a is meant for, you know, a basic smartphone which just gets everything good done, and the only category it kind of is really good on is the camera. The OnePlus has a really nice display, decent cameras for sure, an amazing design, you know, the 30-watt fast charger. It's got a lot of flagship features that you wouldn't even get from sometimes a $1,000 phone. The $1,100 iPhone 11 Pro Max does not have a 90 Hz high refresh rate display, but the OnePlus Nord does. That kind of sums up the whole kind of stigma about this phone. And the color options on the OnePlus Nord are also better in my opinion. There's two colors instead of just the one black option that you get on the Pixel 4a. There's a blue color, which is kind of like a sky blue. I think they call it a blue marble. And there's also a gray oinks color, which is lighter than space gray, but not too light. It's like a nice gray. I like the color options, but the OnePlus Nord has some pretty game-changing features. So what about the price and the availability of these smartphones? The Pixel 4a comes at $350, which is pretty much meant to be $50 cheaper than the iPhone SE and the OnePlus Nord, which come at $400. I think that Google purposefully did this just so that they had a small edge in pricing over those two other phones, so people would buy it, you know, over that. But the Nord is actually only available in some countries right now. You can buy it in some countries like India, the United Kingdom, that sort of stuff. But where I live, the USA, it is not available, whereas the Pixel 4a will be available in the USA. But let's talk about the launch date. The Pixel 4a is supposed to take pre-orders in early September and ship to customers in October, which is in 2 months in the making of this, when I'm making this video. And honestly, the Pixel 4 is probably going to ship alongside the Pixel 5. So the Nord is also supposed to be coming to the US in kind of a different version. Maybe they're going to change a few things when they're bringing it to the USA. But it's, you know, I'm cool to see it. I'm kind of waiting for it to come to the USA. It looks like an amazing smartphone, but you know, for now the 4a is the only one you can buy, but even that is going to take you around 2 months to get the Pixel 4a. So what are my thoughts about these smartphones? I'm a whole hardware guy. I love the, you know, paying attention to the design, the display, that sort of stuff. And, you know, software is amazing. I definitely look at it when I buy a smartphone, but the first thing I look at is how does the phone feel? How's the design? Cameras, that sort of stuff really pops out to me first, because that's what you see. Before you even turn on the phone, you look at how you feel, how it looks, right? So I'm that type of person. If you like software and that's really important for you, the Pixel 4 is definitely going to be better. Not just in the OS, but even with the camera, the software is much better. But if you're like me, you like that 90 Hz display. You want that flexibility in the display to have a 90 Hz refresh rate if you're fine with sacrificing some battery life. A 30-watt fast charger, you know, even though the macro lenses and the depth lenses aren't worth it, it's better than nothing, for sure. So I'm that type of person. I would pick the OnePlus Nord if I was going to buy one of these smartphones, but of course, I like the iPhones. I have an Apple Watch. I'm in the whole Apple ecosystem. The OnePlus Nord, in my opinion, is the better phone because it has a lot of flagship features that they brought down to just $400, which is amazing. The Pixel 4 is the type of smartphone to just hit the basics, call it a day. And honestly, it's a great phone for $350. But since the competition has a better phone, the OnePlus Nord is my pick. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe down below. Every subscriber makes a huge difference, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.